so and something.
Proposition is so. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Morning Ride on Delta Television, the People's Pride. My name is Blessing Usiagodan. On behalf of the board, management, and staff of Delta Broadcasting Service (DBS) Asaba, I welcome you to a fresh edition of Morning Ride. Yes, Monday's edition of Morning Ride. This day, the 22nd day in the month of June, 2026. I'm not riding alone this morning. I have with me my colleague, Ogaga Ekama, and together we'll be bringing you an informative, educative, and entertaining edition of Morning Ride today. Good morning, Ogaga.
Good morning, Blessing.
Good to see you.
Same here.
How's your weekend?
Well, it was good. How was yours?
Mine was fine. I think I like the weather as it is now. The rainy season is my best season. So these days, it's cool. My days go on
me too. I was
smoothly.
having this conversation with someone yesterday, colleague, and I was saying the rainy season is my best season, and the person was trying to convince me why it should not be my best season. I totally love it, honestly.
Yeah.
I love the coolness that comes with it and the serenity and all of that. So it's just good.
Yeah,
It's
but
good.
we should be prepared for the rainy season. Saturday it rained here in Asaba. It was quite heavy, so we should be prepared. If you're leaving your house this morning, don't forget to shut your windows. Don't forget to go out with your umbrellas. And
Do umbrellas really do the work anymore in Asaba?
it will prevent you from being soaked. Like when you go out without your umbrella,
With the
and then
wind?
it rains, it can be terrible. So just be prepared and always go out with the right clothing because it's a bit cold this period.
It is.
All right. Last week on the 19th of June, precisely last week, was the governor's birthday, and a lot of Deltans sent their birthday wishes to the governor. So we're just going to use this opportunity to send our greetings, our birthday wishes to the governor of Delta State, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori. Happy birthday to you in Ariasa. It's a good thing to live, and each year God gives you the gift of adding one more year to your life. We say congratulations to you, and then we see the good works you're doing. On the 19th of June, Deltans, came out in numbers to really talk about how the governor has done so well 3 years into office, and the infrastructure development he has brought to Delta State. Lots of Deltas had a lot to say about the governor on the 19th. So we say happy birthday to you, sir. We wish you God's blessings, we wish you wisdom, and we wish you long life.
Yes, happy birthday to the number one citizen here in Delta State, the Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori. Yes, even on social media, across social media, his page was flooded with wishes and all of that. I was part of those who also wished him a happy birthday. Our prayer is that you continue to grow stronger and stronger. God gives you capacity, wisdom, the strength, because to lead is not easy.
Yeah.
Uneasy is the head that wears the crown. It's not easy to lead people at all, and some persons even argue that it's much easier to lead animals than humans. But we pray for wisdom and strength to keep on doing what you are doing and even do more, as is your agenda.
All right, quickly we move now to our papers. Let's look at the national dailies this morning and let's see what the headlines are. We have a couple of papers. We have The Punch, The Daily Sun, The Daily Trust, Daily Times This Day, The Nation, The Guardian, New Telegraph, and the Nigerian Tribune newspapers. I'll start this morning with The Punch newspaper. And on The Punch, we have this major headline: Retirement Bombshell. 5 DCGs to lead 1,516 officers out of customs. The riders: Customs faces generational shift as 17 ACGs, 25 controllers, top brass prepare for exit. Pre-retirement leave begins as agency sets July 31 deadline for exit-related complaints. Over 1,500 custom retirement statutory, not CG succession plot. All right, it says over 1,500 customs retirement statutory, not CG succession plot, says Reps Chair. Can get details on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. I think retirement is something that would everyone who is in service would eventually come to face. It's not it's not something that, one would say, okay, this person is being wind-shotted or not. If you've reached the age, if you've said for the years required, then
yes,
you have to retire.
The emphasis there is if you've reached the age,
Yes,
because
if you've reached the
there are
age.
some times that retirement is demanded based on some
Oh, yeah.
misconduct and all of that. So
Aside from misconduct, sometimes some persons have to leave, especially when
a junior,
yes, a junior has
yes,
been appointed as the head. Well, the number is quite much. 1,516. 16 officers will be leaving the customs. Okay, that's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. At the top strip, we have Ekiti governor poll. Tinubu hails Oyebaji as ADC PDP rejects results. That's on page 7. When are opposition parties ever going to accept the results of elections in Nigeria?
I think that if there's a situation where they can say that, okay, there's enough evidence to prove that it was free, fair, because not just as the headline says, not just APC and PDP, the SDG candidate is also, he said he's not alleging, he claims that he even saw inducement, voter inducement, that when he was leaving his polling unit, he saw somebody belonging to one of the major parties with bags of money, and he was being protected by police officers. So he's saying it's not alleging. And he couldn't
capture it. I just hope they have their facts, because
so in that kind of situation now, if that actually happened, you don't expect the opposition to come and say, okay, I accept the result.
Well, they will go to court. Obviously, you can go to court and argue this and go with your facts, because it's very important.
Evidence,
and yes, you go with your facts and your evidence to prove your case. Anyway, that's it for that headline. It's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. We have JAM access affiliated degree courses in colleges of education. That's on page 20. Dangote imported 1.46 billion liters blended gasoline, says NMDPRA. That's on page 39. By elections, APC sweeps Nasarawa, Enugu, Kanu, Ondo, PDP holds Rivers. That's on page 8. Ex-OGTV broadcaster guard found dead inside Ogun apartment. That's on page 5. That's a sad one. And then we have Labour knocks government as FAC payouts hit 10.4 trillion naira. All right, that's on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. Those are the headlines from the front page of the Punch this morning.
All right, the next newspaper we have for you this morning is the Daily Sun. And the headlines, they say, Orire abduction. Hope rises for abducted pupils. Teachers. We've got 2 riders attached to that story. Security operatives encircled forest. Step up rescue efforts. Abdusalam immobilizes Nigerians against terrorism. You can get details of that story on page 6. Although one of the riders there, security operatives encircle forest. Step up rescue efforts. So if they have encircled the forest where these pupils and teachers are, why is this information in public domain?
Yes,
or do they think that the kidnappers are dumb, that okay, they will know that we are being encircled and they will remain where they are? So
not they won't remain. What if they begin to harm the children and
because something like this happened during the 2014 incident, Chibok girls, and they said when something like this happened, then the kidnappers, they split the girls. So when information like this is in public domain, you can split them. Maybe if you haven't successful, you just get a part of them and not the entirety of them.
The truth is, we don't even know if this is real, if this is the truth, if really they are surrounded.
So many speculations. Right. Flood, windstorm, destroy shops, farmlands in Ebonyi. Alright, I think Deltans will say same thing is happening here. And the last story on the Daily Sun is a congratulatory message to the governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, and he's tagged Mr. Infrastructure, and the message is coming from the secretary to the state government, that is his SSG, Deborah Abba Esquire.
Okay, next is the Daily Trust newspaper. On the Daily Trust, we have just 4 headlines on the front page. The major one says, Sturge's new appearance sparks concern. Okay, you can get that on page 4 and 5. Then we have APC battles petitions, 4 days to opening of INEC portal. Kano businessman dies in girlfriend's house. That's on page 19.
Is it funny?
No, it's not funny. I'm just wondering under what circumstances did he die and why it made the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Okay, NDLEA arrests grandfathers for allegedly selling drugs to students. That's on page 25. And this is really, really annoying. Grandfathers allegedly selling drugs to students. Well, I'm glad they've been arrested, and if they're guilty, then they should face the weight of the law.
So sad, the moral decadence we have in society.
Grandfather. So you have a child, then you have a grandchild, and yet you're selling drugs to students. Moving on. That's the last headline on the Daily Trust.
We have for you now the Daily Times newspaper. The lead here says, false hope as police, LGA, say kidnapped victims still in captivity despite Igbo's 2-hour ultimatum. Federal government urged on strategic use of 10 billion naira Ebola preparedness fund. And now to the top strip of the Daily Times. Ex-minister rejects Nasarawa by-election, demands cancellation over alleged irregularities. Ex-minister rejects Nasarawa by-election, demands cancellation over alleged irregularities. And lastly, from the Daily Times, Naira firms as external reserves hit $51 billion, highest in 17 years.
Okay, now let's look at the This Day newspaper. This Day, it's a very busy front page we have on This Day newspaper this morning. All right, major headline here says Tinubu, Oyebanji's re-election, clear vote of confidence in continuity, stability, development. Okay, and he actually made history. He's the first governor in Ekiti State that has been re-elected for a second term since we attained democracy in Nigeria. So congratulations to him. And the governor, the president is saying it's a clear vote of confidence in continuity, instability, and development. I'll take the riders. Says winner made history as first governor in the state to win election back to back. Hails Ekiti voters for their peaceful, orderly conduct. Charges INEC to continue to invest in peaceful, free, fair, credible polls. Oyebanji pledges humble service as Bejide rejects results, alleges vote buying. APC, Sanwo-Olu, Yahaya, Rada, Fayemi, Bamidele greet Ekiti governor. All right, congratulations to Ekiti State governor. At the top, we have Trump says Starmer will resign as UK Prime Minister, considers future. Reports hint at possible exit today. Interesting. US announces non-refundable $750 visa fee to enable travelers skip queues. That's on page 5. Okay. NUJ. Did I see? Is that NUJ or N? Oh yeah. NUJ confers Man of the Year award on DSS DG Ajayi for fostering media security partnership. That's on page 9. Presidency lists Tinubu's milestones. Says federation revenue rose from 12 trillion naira to 21 trillion naira. Discloses cost of fuel imports. Okay. Slumped from 23 billion naira to below 90 billion naira. Okay, let me take that right again. It says discloses cost of fuel imports slumped from 23 trillion naira to below 90 billion naira. Critics query positive impact of milestones on Nigerians. Okay, that's continued on page 5 of This Day newspaper. All right, those are the headlines. The photo speak there, 85th birthday celebration of the Obi of Onitsha. We can see Peter Obi there, and of course former President Obasanjo there as well.
All right, moving now to the Nation newspaper, we have the major headline: Ekiti poll, how Oyebanji won, and the riders: victorious governor visits PDP rival. President urges winner to be humble. Right. To the top strip of the Nation, Orire, tightened security raises hope of release. The rider terrorists, relax stand. Senate, APC wins in Ondo, Enugu, Nasarawa. The rider PDP takes Rivers Southeast. CBN targets $51.04 billion external reserves by December. No religious persecution evidence in Nigeria, says UN official. Interesting. You can get details of that story on page 26 of the Nation newspaper. And the photo speak here is celebrating Baba Ganam Zulum of Borno State, 7 years of sterling performance. That's what he says. Those are the headlines on the Nation.
Next is the Guardian newspaper. On the Guardian, we have as major headline: from airports to airlines, governors sink over 500 billion naira in new carriers fleet. That's on page 6. And then we have this headline just below that one. It says Oyembaji re-elected in landslide victory as observers identify gaps ahead of Osun polls. That's on news page 6. And then we can see the votes that were cast on the election day. APC, that's Oyebanji, had 224 votes. PDP had 40,543. Then the ADC had 12,872. At the top, we have reports estimates 279 kidnappings nationwide in May. That's on news page 3. Now, the stopping aspect of this is that we are no longer alarmed as we ought to be when we hear of these kidnappings, because it's recurring, and then it's no longer a surprise to us. But 279 lives, 279 persons have been kidnapped in just 1 month, May.
I think it's so sad that Nigerians, although it's not intentional, that we're becoming numb to situations and news like this. So it looks like just a normal headline that we just read, glance through.
And it shouldn't be.
And
this is a very disturbing headline. We should be alarmed.
It's as though once we hear again, there's another kidnapped victim, or somebody has just been killed by terrorists. It's looking like normal headlines, like the fluctuation of the naira or the price of petrol and all of that. It's so terrible, so terrible.
Very terrible. All right, moving on. Atiku Amechi presidential bid unsettles ADC. That's on news page 3. Federal government took 1.1 trillion naira from Mayfac revenue before sharing, says Oye. That's on news page 3. When solution to open defecation deserves more than political statements, news analysis page 4 has that headline. Sanwo-Olu Bakare lead calls for governance, geo-economics reforms. That's on news page 5. Osun Accord, PDP, won INEC against release of unclaimed PVCs to APC. That's on news page 7. How's that even possible? Why would INEC release unclaimed PVCs to APC?
So even during the Ekiti election, there were unverified claims, unverified videos on social media saying that INEC was still giving out uncollected PVCs to APC members or APC supporters so that they can vote in favor of the APC. Of course, these allegations are yet to be proven. So
And-
maybe
and they're serious
as
allegations,
days go by,
yeah.
maybe we'll begin to uncover and get more details.
These are very serious allegations, and they should be investigated ahead of the Osun polls. We should not have issues like this at all. The INEC has promised Nigerians that they will do better, and we're looking at them. We're watching closely. Observers are watching. I want to see if indeed they will give us credible, free, and fair elections during this polls, and of course, come 2027. Moving on, the last headline from The Guardian says 74% of retailers need credit. Only 18% access formal loans. That's on news page 5. And that's it on the Guardian newspaper, front page from The Guardian.
The next daily we have for you is the New Telegraph. And the lead here says, rising insecurity. Senate convenes emergency plenary tomorrow. I think this is a good one, but enough of the talking. We need to see actions. The Riders military confirms credible intelligence on bandit kingpin Tuji's arms training in Sokoto. Terrorists attack NSCDC. It is a claim from Kebbi Police. Gunmen kill ex-Ogun broadcaster, security guard. So sad. Igboho's ultimatum, police. Igboho's ultimatum, police. Oyo local government debunk kidnap victims release. And the last rider attached to the lead, NDLEA arrests 2 grandfathers for selling drugs to students in Abia. APC governors. Oyebanji's re-election signals Tinubu's victory in 2027. Alright, nice inference. The rider president congratulates Ekiti governor as ADC candidate. Bejide rejects outcome. Probe alleged use of pre-thumb printed ballot papers. Uncollected PVCs. MCE tells INEC. See those allegations? Yaga Africa identifies shortcomings, tasks electoral body on management. NAS threatens mass action over 2-month delay in Nelfund upkeep allowances. These are still, it's too soon for us to be having issues with Nelfund. Fish oil supplements doesn't slow brain aging. This is according to a study. So for those persons that think that fish oil supplements slows brain aging, then you need to read this study on page 30 of the New Telegraph. Moving on to the top strip. Seafarers remittance. Nigeria loses $20 billion annually to poor training. And lastly, from the New Telegraph, Islamic insurance firm backs Lagos Calabar Coastal Road with $626 million cover.
All right, moving on to our last paper for review this morning. And our last paper is the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. On the Nigerian Tribune, we have as major headline, insecurity to top agenda as senators reconvene tomorrow. Riders, Akpabio or Shomole's feud may deepen. Very interesting. I love watching the Senate. But then, while we laugh over some of these issues, it shouldn't be. The Senate it shouldn't be at all. We shouldn't have our senators conducting themselves in such manner. And I think whatever it is between Akpabio and Oshomole, they should talk it out as soon as possible.
I think why Nigerians love seeing situations like this is because we get to hear claims and counterclaims about what is going on, what was not in the public domain, and all of that.
Sometimes they spill what they shouldn't spill.
Actually, what Nigerians should be aware of, not like what they shouldn't spill.
Yeah, what they would not want to spill.
Exactly. That's the better way to.
All right. Other writer says, ex-Edo governor not a reason for reconvening, says Senate spokesman. Okay, lawmakers free to move motions on any subject. That's on page 2. Well, Oshomole is looking like the star of the Senate recently. You know,
really?
last year it was Senator Natasha. You know, her back and forth with the Senate president. Now he's looking like, I actually go through different social media platforms, and I hear Nigerians, or I see what Nigerians write, and they're commenting, showing like, yes, this is what he's ought to be doing. We're not seeing the labor, the how they call it now,
labor personality.
Yeah, not just we're seeing it in him now. He's now more outspoken. They're giving him kudos. Why some people believe that he has a hidden agenda.
Yes, so exactly. So I don't think that it's a balanced comparison, Natasha and Oshomole, because I feel that whatsoever Oshomole is doing is based on personal interest. He's not speaking up for Nigerians. He's speaking up as a result of his feud with the Senate. So I think that whatsoever he's doing is his own way of trying to fight the Senate president, not because he cares about Nigeria, because everything he's been talking about, they've been in existence since.
Exactly.
So why has he not unearthed them prior to now?
And then
all this began when there was that law, when the Senate was saying that you need to be in the Senate at least 2 consecutive tenures, which he does not qualify for. That's where we started seeing him speaking things against the Senate president. Because even when he made the allegation of during Senator Natasha's suspension that
signatures were forged.
This was there. So why didn't he say this? Or this?
And then
he said that Akpabio's daughter, that there was nepotism in the appointment of Senator Akpabio's daughter into the NNPC, although the Senate president's spokesperson has come out to debunk that Akpabio's daughter does not work with the NNPC and all of that. So why now?
Yes, and he made mention of that story, or what I call it, news story we've talked about severally here on set, where it was reported that the military officers that were stationed at a particular school, I can't remember the school now, before
that they were pulled out.
They received a call about 30 minutes before the kidnapping happened. I watched the video where he was asking the Senate president, asking the senators that they have asked the military to provide the person who made that call, who made the military officers leave that place, and till date, the military has refused to answer or reply to the Senate. And this tells us a lot about our senators, because if let's now just assume that Oshomole is doing all this for his personal interest. What about the senators? They are there for Nigeria. They are there to serve Nigerians. But these days, like I said, they
that's why when I took that headline, when they say they are convening emergency due to rising insecurity, I said it's a lot of talk. Actions, we are not seeing decisive actions being taken, just like the situation you brought to the fore. If we are seeing decisive strategy, then the military should have said something, should have responded to the Senate.
I can't imagine the Senate calling on the military and the military not replying or giving. I don't understand it.
That is if the call was not just to make the headlines.
All right, moving on from that major headline. At the top, we have Labour braces for change as UK Prime Minister stammers exit looms. That's on page 4. Orire abduction, troops close in on kidnappers' hideout. Writer says 186 high-profile terrorist commanders neutralized. How? When? We need names. Because this is a lot. 168 high-profile terrorist commanders neutralized.
It's probably in the last 1 year, probably the last 6 months. We can't tell, but once you get to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune, you'll probably get details there.
Abdulsalami urges Nigerians to unite against terror, support security agencies to defeat evil. Just like Ogaga said, I don't see any reason why they should be on the headlines this morning. If you've closed in on the kidnappers' hideouts, you should be, instead of reporting, you should be acting about it. Not just discreet, but they should be concerned. They should be very focused on getting the children out of the kidnappers' den and not making headlines yet. The headline we want to see is the children are out, the safe release of the children and teachers. Other headlines on the Nigerian Tribune says, okay, we have this one that says, Tinubu Oyebanji APC celebrates Ekiti governorship victory. The other says, its validation of Tinubu's government, says Oyebanji. Is this really true? Is this really true?
Okay, so
Ekiti State people voting for Oyebanji as the governor, they're voting for who they want as governor to represent them. But does this really speak about APC at the national level?
Okay, some politicians will argue that you don't have names of candidates on the ballot. It's the party. Yeah, so it's a faith in the APC. It's a vote of confidence in the APC and their policies. So I think that's the angle they see it from.
All right. NBA applauds peaceful, orderly polls. NBA. I hope they would look into the allegations flying around. All right. We have Ekiti election reflects polling unit results, says Yaga Africa. That's on page 22. Well, yes, I know that opposition parties have rejected the results, but looking at how he won in all 16 local government areas of Ekiti State, well, we can't deny, we can't sit here and say there were no vote buying, because, like you said, SDP candidate said he saw people being induced and saw someone with bags of money and all that. But then, let's go to the court. And then the last headline from the Nigerian Tribune says, health, saliva test can predict dangerously sleep-deprived persons. Says scientist. That's on page 8. Just from your saliva, they can predict
I need to take that test.
Dangerously sleep-deprived persons. I think you know within you if you're sleep-deprived or not. If you don't have a good sleep routine, I don't as well.
There's
so
a meme I saw.
You don't need to go for that test.
There's a sleep inside me that I'm trying to sleep. That every time I sleep it, I know I've not slept.
All right, those are the papers we have for review this morning. Go grab yourself copies of these papers, read up for yourself, or you can check them online and read the stories for yourself. Every day, when we go through our papers, we talk of insecurity, we talk of rising inflation. We just hope and we pray that things will get better soon for Nigerians. All right, we'll take a break now. Get copies and read up for yourself. Take a break, and when we come back, we'll bring you our interview segment. Please stay with us.